Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch Series 7 and see how this specific watch holds up in 2023. Now, I will definitely tell you the Apple Watch Series 7 is still a very good Apple Watch to buy. It's probably been one of the rare occasions where Apple has made pretty significant changes from one watch to the other in like a matter of like 2 or 3 years. And I'll explain that in a second. But with the Series 7, you're still getting a very good watch. It's still going to be supported for a very long time. And it still has the same design for the most part as the latest base series Apple Watch. So I think you're going to be fine. If you want to pick it up, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside, a big thing, that a lot of people forget about is this watch actually ended up bringing a little bit of a size difference. So from the Apple Watch Series 6 to the Series 7, you were actually getting a 1mm bigger sized Apple Watch. So that was something that was very interesting. And I actually did like seeing that from Apple. When I saw them actually create this type of Apple Watch, it was actually a very cool thing. And I still look at them as, bringing something really awesome with these types of watches. So that's the first thing, right? You're getting a 41 or 45mm casing, which is totally cool. I love seeing that. On the sides, you do have that little side button as well as that digital knob or that crown, whatever they call it. And essentially it allows you to kind of interact with more stuff within the watchOS ecosystem, which is great. On the back, you have that standard wireless charging block little area, which I always loved because they keep the same charger for all of the chargers that's, for all the Apple Watches. So if you have the first Apple Watch or you have the latest Apple Watch, it's the same charger. Maybe they can bring reverse wireless charging on their iPhones, so we won't need a charger, but for now, it's still totally fine. And another thing that's really cool, at least on the outside, are the bands. So just like how the charger is kind of compatible with all the Apple Watches, the bands are also compatible with each other. So if you're getting the bigger size or the smaller size Apple Watches, those bands are interchangeable between those specific sizes. So you can, mix and match a 45 and 41mm watch, but you can mix and match a 38mm, 40mm, and 41mm band within each other. So that's been another really cool thing that I love seeing. So personally, when I look at these watches, that definitely gets a thumbs up for me, and I'm actually really happy about that. So from that perspective, I'm definitely cool with it for sure. Now, that kind of covers it up on the outside. Visibly, it may not look like there's a big difference here, but like I said, coming from the Series 6, you were actually getting a pretty big difference. And honestly, looking forward, the Series 8, and I would assume the Series 9 may actually end up looking the same exact way as this watch too. Remember how I said there was like back-to-back years of like improvements? Well, every watch brings some new things. The Apple Watch Series 6 was a pretty normal basic update, but the Series 7 ended up bringing a bigger design in terms of that bigger display, which we don't see bigger displays on Apple Watches every day. And then the year after this, we had the Apple Watch Ultra. So it's very interesting how we had almost like back-to-back years of pretty big major Apple Watch improvements. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now in terms of software and longevity, this Apple Watch is going to be lasting a fairly long amount of time. To give you some perspective, we have many Apple Watches that have to be removed first before this thing gets removed. For one, it's not even 2 years old yet, but we still have the Apple Watch Series 4 that's supported, the Series 5, the first generation Apple Watch SE, and that Apple Watch Series 6. So we still have a bunch of Apple Watches ahead of this watch before it gets discontinued. I'd probably say another 3 years before this thing even gets rumored to be discontinued. So you still have quite a bit of a lifespan there too. So I wouldn't really worry about that too much if I'm being honest. Now, another thing to keep in mind are the features built in with their Apple Watches. So personally, I use an Apple Watch Series 4 every day and it completely does the job for me. In fact, I think it's a little overkill of using an Apple Watch like this for me. But with the Series 7, the thing to keep in mind is that this Apple Watch has so many features built in and just everything surrounding it is just amazing. Personally for me, the things I normally do on my Apple Watch are, checking notifications, seeing if I'm getting a phone call and maybe picking up that phone call. I would, check my workouts every single day whenever I'm working out. So there's a few things like that all over the place. But I wouldn't, I don't really need the most amount of power for my Apple Watch, but maybe you do. With the S7 chip inside of this thing, that is a very good chipset to have inside of this Apple Watch. It's very powerful, gets the job done for sure, and it's definitely one of the biggest assets I would say of getting one of these Apple Watches, because not only is it extremely fast, but it's also going to be supported for a long period of time as well. Now there's also many features built in with this type of Apple Watch, so you are getting things like that always on display, which is really nice. You are getting a blood oxygen sensor within this Apple Watch, with that electrical heart sensor and third generation optical heart sensor. So definitely a lot of health related, options you have here, which is really cool. You still have those high and low rate heart notifications, which has been on Apple Watches for a while. And there's a lot of other features that you can download. You can get access to them via the, watchOS app store. So there is a lot of good stuff here. And one interesting thing that Apple actually brought within this Apple Watch is actually the faster charging time. So that was another cool thing they, kind of brought here. You still have 32 gigabytes of storage built in as well. And definitely the features built in are really cool. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll definitely tell you is I definitely do think the Apple Watch Series 7 is completely worth it in 2023. I think it's a very good Apple Watch, and even later on this year and even next year and the year after, it's still going to be a watch that's going to be around for many, many years to come. So I wouldn't really look at this watch and be afraid that it's going to be old or that it's already a generation old. That is not the case. This is still a very capable watch, and anything I've ever done with this Apple Watch, it's been perfectly fine. In fact, like I said, I use an Apple Watch Series 4, so anything over that is pretty much just, overkill in my opinion. So with the Series 7, you're still getting a very good design, it's still supported, and you can't really get too much better than this unless you want to go for the Apple Watch Ultra. So in terms of that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.